MJBulls is proud to produce the Raising Cannabis Capital podcast. Today's episode will begin after this brief message from our sponsor.
This ain't no desk job, but it's what you got to do to scale up to this in a single growing season. It's how in Oregon alone, we grew and harvested the single largest crop of CBG in the world. Grit, tenacity, hell, whatever you want to call it. The crew at Hamptown USA has it by the bucket load. Just getting our seeds in the ground back in spring and growing them till fall was nothing short of heroic. Propagation, planting, maintaining what we have, and building what we need. Trust me, this shit ain't easy. But when it comes to harvest time, our team bumps the bar up to a whole new level. Next comes processing. Everything but the top flower goes off to get turned into crude, distillate, isolate, and water-soluble ready. Our product, like our team, is nothing less than best in class. This plant has always had the power to change the world, but it needs people to make it happen. We're lucky to have those people right here at Hamptown USA.
The person that doesn't invest every day, you're not going to see the great deal flow. You're not going to know the backstory. You're not going to have the connections with other funds or other big investors that will support these investments. You're going to see a deck and you're going to believe the numbers and you're going to get very excited and try to put your money to work. And that can be very dangerous.
From MJBulls Media, it's the Raising Cannabis Capital Show. Today we're continuing our Cannabis Investor Spotlight series, and we're joined by Steve Schuman, the founder and managing director at HALLEY Venture Partners. Steve, thanks for being on the MJBulls Podcast.
Thanks, Dan.
So our listeners really are made up of two distinct demographics. One is people that are interested in investing in the cannabis industry, and two are cannabis companies that are looking for investments. So I thought we'd start off by talking to the cannabis companies out there who are raising capital. Can you tell us a little about HALLEY Venture Partners and what type of cannabis companies you look for when you make an investment?
Sure. We looked at the space about 4 years ago. Looked at the various different investments. If you can think of them in really three buckets. You have real estate, you have plant touching, and you have ancillary or picks and shovels. And really, when you look at back in history, the picks and shovels win. And so we really focused on that, and that happened to be our background as well.
Okay. So those are the type of companies that you look for. And then within that sector, give me some examples of some things that you're right now looking at.
Most of our deals are technology related. And the reason for that is technology means patent protection. It means barriers to entry. It means less competition, and it means higher margins, hopefully.
If there's a cannabis company out there that was a match, what type of information do you normally look for them to provide to you? And how do they get in touch with you?
We have a pretty wide network, friends, family, LinkedIn, you name it. I've been contacted in every way you can imagine. By far the easiest way is we have a very simple form on our website, www.halleywvp.com. You fill it out, answer the compliance question, and off it goes. And we do monitor it. We do respond if we find investments that are interesting, as well as investors that may want to put money with us.
Yeah, to wrap this up, when it comes to projections, how many years projections would you look for in a pitch deck?
So the process to evaluate, or as we call it, due diligence on a potential investment is a pretty long and complicated process. The longest we've taken so far is about 6 months. The shortest is about 6 weeks. This is our capital. This is our LP's capital, and we want to make sure that this goes to the right area. To do that, it's a process. We've done it hundreds and probably thousands of times, and so we've got checklists and sheets and required information that we look for. What the things that we're going to look for is a management team, number one, that has probably done a similar company or worked in a similar space before. Outside of cannabis is nice as well. And that really starts the conversation. We're not trying to fund people that have never done this before. If they've done loyalty software in the real world, they probably have a pretty good chance of being successful in the cannabis space, building loyalty software. We're going to want financial projections, of course, but the early stage that we get involved, while important, we will look at those. We will go over every number and see how they came up with it and what we think is a more realistic number. But a few years is fine. We're trying to not necessarily prove the company financially, but prove the product works, prove customers are interested, and ultimately prove that they'll pay something for it.
I want to take a minute to tell you about some really innovative things that our sponsor, Cream of the Crop, is doing in the cannabis space. Their brand is on fire. They have the 5th best-selling indoor flower brand in the state, and they're profitable, growing their business at 10% a month year to date. They're succeeding by helping cultivators turn profits through operation management and consulting in exchange for supply agreements. By bringing 30-plus years of cultivation experience, award-winning genetics, ultra-efficient SOPs, proprietary nutrient mixes, and their brand, they're able to help both operators who are new to the space and ones who want to just increase efficiency. In fact, they just increased profits for one of their clients by $700,000 per month. Just incredible. But what's really exciting is that they're expanding their highly scalable model beyond California. That's right, they're accepting applications across the country for 2021 and 2022 partnerships. Also, if you're planning to invest in cannabis, you should definitely look at Cream of the Crop because they're doing a capital round in early 2021 to help with their brand's national expansion. To learn more about partnering with Cream of the Crop or investing in their expansion, go to creamofthecropgardens.com. That's creamofthecropgardens.com. Well, I think that kind of leads us right into my next group of listeners, and those are the people that are interested in investing in the cannabis industry. And there's so many people that are sort of on the sidelines deciding whether they should invest directly into a cannabis company or to work with a group of people like you. Tell our listeners why it's such a good idea to work with HALLEY Venture Partners to manage their cannabis investment.
The process of investing is actually very easy. Investing, anybody can actually do it. The question is, how well can they do it? To be successful in investing, you probably should have done it for 20 years in the real world. You probably should have put your own money to work and seen it go to zero and seen it go up 10x. You should probably have a background to be able to evaluate hundreds, if not thousands of deals to find that 1% that really is going to do well. Yeah, I live outside San Francisco. It's one of the hotbed areas, obviously, for the cannabis industry. And every one of my associates, friends, and colleagues has sent me a cannabis deal that they've seen. They're not in the industry, but just being in the area, they get some deal flow. I have not invested in any of those that have ever come from a friend, a family office that saw 10 deals and picked one. And really getting that perfect deal flow is a matter of numbers. Our website alone, we get about 10 deals a day, depending on the day of the week. Obviously, 9 of those 10 don't fit our criteria. They're very quickly off to the side. And the one that does hit, a couple of a week, we make phone calls on and start our investment process. As a person that doesn't invest every day, you're not going to see the great deal flow. You're not going to know the backstory. You're not going to have the connections with other funds or other big investors that will support these investments. You're going to see a deck and you're going to believe the numbers and you're going to get very excited and try to put your money to work. And that can be very dangerous.
And especially in this industry, because there's so much that people don't know. If you're not in it.
Especially in this industry. If you don't know the backstories, if you don't know, I had people come to me with the greatest indoor grow, and I knew 18 months ago that indoor was gone and greenhouse was a more attractive option for cultivation. While frauds are pretty rare, there is some groups that are less clean than others. You want to be careful there. And on top of it, we have this whole team around the world that is looking at these investments, is monitoring them, is adding value after the investment. And if we can't do a little bit better than you to cover our fees, I think that we've done something wrong. And if we can get a higher return and easily cover any of the management fees that we would charge, I think you're going to be better off. You'll have a diversified product and professionally managed 24/7.
So if somebody wants to reach out to you guys and make an investment in the cannabis industry, what do you need from them? How do they get in touch with you?
There's a 5 or 7 answer questionnaire on the bottom of our website, and it's very easy to get a hold of us that way.
All of Steve's information and HALLEY Venture Partners will be on the MJBulls website, but their website address is www.halleyvp.com. Steve, this has been really interesting, and I appreciate you being on the show. I'm sure our listeners do too, so thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
All right, bye-bye.
Crappie's Feel Better Company is a cannabinoid CPG company with a line of easy-to-use CBG, CBD, and CBN products built for the weekend warriors, the weekday Zoomers, and anyone in between. Crappie's next-gen products incorporate pharmaceutical-derived chemistry to precisely blend minor cannabinoids and terpenes, creating a series of proprietary formulas for hyper-targeted use cases. Harnessing a team of experts with over 75 combined years of chemistry experience, the company relies on its novel solubility technology, state-of-the-art delivery, consistent results, and unique eye-catching branding to stand out from the crowd. Crappie's executive team and chemists have created a vast and diverse product pipeline to maintain relevance in a saturated market. To find out how you can participate in Crappie's Feel Better expansion, which includes major retail placements, university-executed clinical trials, IP and patent submissions, GMP and API scale-up, and international distribution, go to crappiesfeelbetter.com or on Instagram at crappiesfeelbetter. Today's show was made possible by the generous support of our sponsors, like Alt36, the country's premier blockchain payment processing platform that's providing dispensaries and its customers with a safe and secure payment option other than cash. To learn more, go to alt36.com.